And hey there, it's me Mudlink and welcome back to some more The Greatest Attorney Adventure. So last time we finished off the adventure of the Clouded Kokoro, and it's a fucking bonkers case. Basically just, it showed us how, the life in Great Britain is like. And we got to see, don't rule out anything. Don't rule out anything, even if something seems unrelated, it most likely is. Poor fucking Soseki-san, man. Like, how unlucky do you have to be to, like, have that happen to you? How fucking unlucky? In any case, we're starting off with case 5, and this is my favorite case in the game. I kind of, sometimes it's a toss-up between 3 and 5 for me, but I think 5 is better. I think 5 is like a little bit better. In any case, how about we just get started?
ホームズの鋭い声が濃い霧の壁の向こうから聞こえてきた。私は霧のまとわりつく拳銃の撃鉄を起こして息を潜めて待った。永遠とも思える静寂、そしてその瞬間は突然訪れた。霧の中から見たこともない巨大な獣が私の目の前に躍り出たのだ。それは確かに犬だった。しかし明らかに尋常ではなかった。目はこうこうと燃え上がり、猛牛ほどもある体躯に獰猛な青白い炎をまとっている。血を這うような息遣いとうなり声、私はあまりの恐怖に震え上がった。見たまえワトソン、ホームズは魔獣を見据えて言い放った。こいつこそバスカビル家に代々語り継がれる伝説の魔剣なのだ。
Our first 2 months in London passed by in a flash. In that disconcerting courtroom experience we were first thrown into on the day that we arrived in the country, and in Soseki-san's terrible ordeal that had followed closely behind, we had emerged victorious. However, there then came an abrupt end to our opportunities to appear in court, which was hardly surprising, of course, since I was nothing more than an amateur, an unknown student of law from a faraway land. So life in our little office was very quiet. It would be weird that it's quiet, considering you beat the Reaper twice. You'd think there'd be some buzz happening, but I guess not. That is, until it was shattered one day by that fateful telegram. 15th of April, 9:13 a.m. Naruhodo's legal consultancy. That morning, I was woken by the unreserved knocking on the door by the telegram boy. But after he'd gone, Susato-san's behavior became very obviously strange. Susato-san? Yes! Is it time to leave for court already? Let me see. What case is it today? I don't think I'm scheduled to defend anyone at the moment, am I? Oh, no, of course not. How silly of me. But I think Iris said she would make us breakfast this morning. So, should we go down to Mr. Holmes' suite? Yes. Iris makes the most delicious breakfast food. She does, doesn't she? And once our bellies are full, we can leave for court in fighting fit form. Let me see. What case is it today? Here we go again. For anything else? examine the shovel. It is important. Just like the blackboard. That spade has been in here since we started renting the place. Oh, that's not a spade, Naruhodo-san. It's a shovel. You see? Susato-san and I agree with each other. No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade. No, spades are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a shovel. I don't want to dig a hole for myself, so let's leave it. Mommy, you can use a shovel to. You can use either one to put coal in a fireplace here. Mostly it's a spade, but usually, I don't know how spades look like back in the day, but usually spades are like darker, you know. They don't really have wood here. But I guess it's just how spades used to look like. Oh yeah, also examine this. This is just for fun. The Daruma doll I brought with me from home, still with only one eye colored in. I said I'd colored the other eye once I won my first case here in Britain, but you have one, haven't you? Twice, in fact. Because I feel as though I'm still lacking as a lawyer. I tell you what, why don't you color the other eye in once you think I'm a proper, fully fledged lawyer? If you insist. So, what was it about? The telegram that was delivered this morning, I mean. Oh, a telegram? I don't know what you're talking about. Sorry, but you're not going to get away with that. Well, I didn't think I would. Actually, don't give it a moment's thought. It's nothing. Nothing interesting. Boring, in fact. Ahem. It was just a boring old telegram. That's 3 times now that she's tried and failed to convince me it was nothing. I promised that I'll tell you about it at some point. Alright, I understand. So I suppose Soseki-san will have arrived back in Japan by now, won't he? Yes, I should think so. He left immediately after that terrible ordeal. Which would mean he should have completed the voyage already, or be just a few days away. A fortnight ago, we had that very long telegram from him, do you remember? Complaining of seasickness. But by and large, it seems the voyage has been going well. Is something wrong, Naruhodo-san? I was just wondering, what might have become of Soseki-san had he stayed in London, that's all. You mean, as regards Lord Van Zeeks? That's a weird sentence. I don't know if it's just Old English, though. The Reaper? Yes, I can't help wondering if seasickness would have paled into insignificance in that case. What is it they say? That no one who stands in the dock can be safe from the Reaper, right? Like the way that nightmarish trial ended on the very day we arrived in London. Even 2 months on, the cause of that dreadful fire is still a mystery. Yes, but at least Soseki-san is safely out of the country now. Presumably that means that the curse of the Reaper can only take effect within the confines of the city of London, perhaps? Even if that is the case, it's a little comfort. I have a terrible sense of foreboding. If the legend of the Reaper is to be believed, it would mean he wields the sword of justice himself. Come to think of it, I wonder what he's been up to these past 2 months. Surely not wielding that sword against more acquitted defendants. No, I don't think so. Apparently, Lord Van Zeeks hasn't appeared in court once since our last encounter. Oh? Yeah, since Soseki-san's trial, he's withdrawn from judicial service again, it seems. Really? Just like before, when he wasn't seen in court at all for several years. So it's just been me who's had to face him in his recent spate of trials then. Ugh, just my luck. I wonder if luck doesn't come into it. Sorry, what was that? Oh, nothing. Never mind. Alright, let's go downstairs. The home's a suite. Morning, Runo. Morning, Susie. Ow. Thank God that the volume's really low for you, because actually, I'm gonna make you hear the suffering. That hurts my ears. Good morning, Iris. Iris? What is it, Runo? What is that terrible noise? It sounds like a cat being strangled. Ah, yes, you noticed that, did you? Early isn't in the best form this morning, it seems. Oh. Hello. Tip tip. Good morning. Good morning. Hello, Mr. Holmes. Good morning. Good morning to die, perhaps. Has something happened, Mr. Holmes? You look miserable, and the way you were playing the violin before. My analytical mind is dead. Music is dead. The world is dead. Damn this blanched existence! That's all it is, my dear fellow. Nothing of consequence. I'm afraid I don't understand. Well, Iris, isn't it time we ate? Some dry toast and insipid coffee for me, if it's not too much trouble. Look at the kitty. Oh, look, it's Wagahai. Good morning, boy. That must be some sort of tiny door for cats to use. But how did it get there? Well then, everyone, time for breakfast. Oh, wonderful. Let me help you, Iris. Oh, it would indeed be a fine day to die. Oh, I knew something looked different. Something's missing from Mr. Holmes's desk. For that, why not examine the fireplace for an achievement. The fire is burning comfortingly in the grate again today. It's a very different feeling to a Japanese hibachi somehow. Oh, look at that photographic print of a lady displayed on the mantelpiece. Could it be? Yes, it must be. It's the woman. Oh, how exciting. Is that supposed to mean something to me? Oopsie, whoops. Now examine this. This is where Iris notes down ideas, isn't it? Let's see. What does it say today? The Boscombe Valley of Mystery. Oh, how intriguing! It must be the title of Iris's latest work. Oh my! I wonder what fantastic tale awaits us. Susato-san looks like an angel, but I bet she's dreaming of the most unsavory crime you could imagine. That's a third examination for that. You have to do that 4 more times. You seem to be very unhappy this morning, Mr. Holmes. What happened? What's happened? It used to be the case that in my hands this violin sung like the dawn chorus. Its mellissonant tones would make flowers bloom. It would? But now, the muses are unamused with me. The goddesses of music have thrown me over. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Holmes? For hours I have bowed, for days even, through the night I have endeavored to no avail. That sound, my tone, is lost. That brilliant, clear, unwavering tone. Gone forever! No more recitals of unbridled emotion! Well, you haven't been practicing much lately, have you, Hurley? Oh. Don't worry, I'm sure it'll come back to you in time. Heed my words, Mr. Naruhodo. The goddesses of the arts are fickle. One day they bestow genius on a man. The next, they unmercifully withdraw it. Oh dear. Ah! Why is this happening to me? If they take the turn I have for the violin from me, what is left for pity's sake? What is left? Deduction perhaps? Isn't that what you're known for? Mr. Holmes, I don't like to pry, but your desk looks rather empty today. Ah, well done, Miss Susato. Your observational skills do you credit. Oh no, Mr. Holmes, they pale into insignificance when compared to yours. You'd struggle not to notice, wouldn't you? You mean Hurley's great analytoscope? That's at Windy Banks now. Sorry, it's at a Windy Bank? No, Windy Banks, the pawnbrokery. What? You mean you've pawned that enormous machine of yours? It has some considerable value, you see. Quite undeservingly. But isn't it a very important machine for your work? I do wish you had consulted us if your situation had become so desperate. I should have gladly passed the little income I have to you. Dear madam, things are far from desperate. But the pawnbroker is your wonderful machine. How could it be anything but desperate? Making use of a pawnbroker is quite ordinary here in London, I assure you. It is? Doesn't sound ordinary at all. It would seem that neither of you fully understand how pawnbroking works. Oh, what's to understand exactly? What did you mean when you said we didn't fully understand how pawnbroking works? To the people of London, pawnbrokeries are akin to banks. Banks? On Mondays, merchants relinquish their finest jackets and trappings to their pawnbroker of choice. With the money they receive in turn, they are able to trade happily through the week. And then on Saturdays, they go to recover their things using the money they've earned. I had no idea this has been a fascinating lesson for us. Everyone does it, you see, especially people in inner London. And should they have money to spare, they would purchase another fine jacket. Not to wear, obviously, but to pawn, should the need arise. Oh, how ingenious. So whenever we have something that's getting in the way, we leave it at Windy Banks, you see. A pawnbrokery could be thought of as an extremely secure vault. Would have thought that even pawnbrokers are different here in Great Britain. Of course, you have to watch Hurley with it. Sometimes he pawns things he really shouldn't. Don't you, Hurley? Just wondering how the fuck he brought that analytoscope to the fucking place. Thing was huge. What does it matter? The world is dead to me now. Did I miss something? Whoops. No, it's just ellipses. Oh, just dots, not ellipses. Ellipses is 3. I guess multiple ellipses. Why? Mr. Natsume's cat seems to have settled into his new home then. Oh yes, and I've become very attached to little Waggy. It would appear his previous owner has completely forgotten to him. Cats are unfeeling creatures. Their mews are as empty as the hearts of the muses. Oh, look how cute that is! Mr. Natsume had no intention of taking Wonky back to Japan. I wonder why he kept him in the first place. Expect he would have taken him if he could. But pets are strictly forbidden aboard steamships in our experience. And for good reason. Terrible things can happen if the rules of passage are not obeyed. Well, I don't mind, because Waggy's adorable. Oh, look how cute! Yes, he really is. Oh yes, what about the door? I don't remember seeing that tiny thing in the main door before. Where did that come from? Oh, you notice? You're observant, Runo. Look, I use this. It's my latest invention. What? What is that? That's cute music. I call it the cat flappomat. The cat flappomat. Gosh, a machine for making doors just for cats? That's right. It can make a cat flap for a little furry friend like Woggy in seconds. And I can do it in any door. Do it in any door at all, no matter what it's made of. It's very powerful, you see. Wouldn't it have been quicker just to make the cat flap rather than making a machine to make the cat flap? Well, yes, maybe, but now I can make cat flaps anywhere I like. Oh, I think it's wonderful. You must make one for us in the door of our office upstairs, Iris. She really knows how to come up with unconventional inventions, this girl. Oh, what was that? Wog-eye? No, now it really sounds like a cat getting strangled. What was that? Oh no! Wog-eye's tangled up in your violin! I think he thinks it's a toy. No, what's he doing to it? Oh dear, Mr. Holmes's precious violin. Why should I care? What? I shouldn't be surprised. If the cat is a more accomplished musician than I, then I know. Mr. Holmes really is in poor spirits, isn't he? Well, anyway, I'll put it back where it lives. Shall I, Hurley? Out of the cat's reach, if possible. Maybe we should assess the damage. No, wait. So this is a violin, isn't it? Is it? It's a Stradivarius. One of the finest violins in the world, made by the renowned Italian luthier Antonio Stradivari. Oh, I see. It doesn't really look like anything special to me. I happened upon it covered in dust, languishing in a pawn shop down the script back alley. The broker had no idea of its value, so I was able to purchase it for a mere 55 shillings. How honorable of you. And until today, it has been my faithful companion in every great Paganini-inspired performance I've made. I ask you, is there a reason to live in a world devoid of music? To tolerate this blanche existence? No. There is none. Mr. Holmes? What, dear madam? What? My thoughts are preoccupied with fancies of release from this dull routine. Well, it's about the violin. It looks very different to normal, don't you think? What do you mean, Miss Suzuto? Oh, Susie's right. Yes. The tone of the wood is completely different. That's not all. I'm sure there was no crack here before. Wait, it's not even the right size, is it? What's this? I'm terribly sorry to have to tell you this, Mr. Holmes, but that instrument isn't a violin at all. Then what? I believe it's an entirely different instrument called the viola. What? What? Oh, Mr. Holmes, are you all right? You're right. You are quite right. This isn't my faithful Stradivarius. So what? Pray, is this piece of string flotsam? Not your faithful performing partner, then? I see what must have happened. You do, Iris? This is just a simple mix-up. Sounds like Iris might be able to tell us exactly what's happened if we ask her. What do you mean? What did you mean by a mix-up, Iris? Well, you see, this violin, Sorry, this viola, I mean. Was that Windy Banks until last week? At the pawnbrokers? Now Mr. Holmes' beloved musical partner. There is a proverb from the East, with which you are no doubt familiar, my dear fellows. Always let a beloved child travel. Yes, indeed. So you sent your beloved violin to the pawnbrokers in the hope that it would experience personal growth? Oh, what a wonderful idea. Last week I pawned my great analythoscope in order to release my precious instrument. But it would appear Mr. Windybank mistakenly furnished me with this tawdry fiddle instead. But my ears cannot be deceived by the hollow timbre of this piece of timber. Timber? No, but your every sense was deceived by the fact that it just had strings. Pshaw! A fine state of affairs this is, and why I always say, Miss Naruhodo, never trust a pawnbroker. They will try to fiddle you every time. But earlier you told us that you could think of a pawnbroker. Pawnbroker is an extremely secure vault. Come, Miss Naruhodo, dilly-dallying will get you nowhere. Sorry? Crunching your toast with that vacant aspect. Fussing your coffee so obtusely. Are you not a little embarrassed by your conduct, considering the urgency with which we are faced? You must visit Mr. Windybank's broker at once. That's right, isn't it, Mr. Holmes? Precisely, Miss Tusato, without a moment's delay. But I haven't finished my bacon and eggs. My dear fellow, surely you do not still intend to crunch your bacon with increasingly vacant aspect, to first your eggs ever more obtusely. All right, say no more. Let's go then. No, don't worry, Bruno. I'd be happy to heat it up for you again later. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Iris. As it happens, I am rather curious to see what a British pawnbroker's looks like. I love this song. I'm just gonna keep Discord open for a bit. Wendy Bangs, pawnbroker. I should have just gone to Baker Street. I mean, it's fine. Doesn't matter. So this is a British pawnbrokery. Oh my, there are all sorts of tools and contraptions in here that I've never laid eyes on before. Ah, Susato-san, and that spark of wonder in your eyes. You can't wait to scour the shelves, can you? Get the impression you enjoy places like this? Oh yes, I don't know why, but seeing such a lot of things I don't understand is a real thrill to me. My dear fellows, let's not forget why we are here. Oh, Mr. Holmes. We are calling on matters of business, not pleasure. Clearly Mr. Holmes means business too, judging from the spark of fury in his eyes. Mr. Holmes, sir, welcome back. Gee, that brazen welcome. Oh yes, we are potential customers after all. We are disgruntled customers, Miss Naruhodo, and it's time to inform Mr. Windybank of our ire. Come, the fight is afoot. Naturally, you will recall this, which I retrieved from you some days ago. Yes. This decorated fiddle is not my faithful instrument, Mr. Windybank. The color of the wood is different. It has holes in it, and it's not even the same size. Wonderful summary of our observations, Mr. Holmes. I'm so very sorry, sir. How orderly, unforgiving of me. An unexcusable mistake for a pawnbroker. There's only one way to make amends. I shall have to take my own life. I don't think that will be necessary, do you? If I may just say one thing before I pop off. Yes? It was you, sir, Mr. Holmes, who took it upon himself to remove the item the other day, I believe. Sorry. As I recall, I entered the storeroom to fetch your violin when I heard, ah, here it is. You did? And when I turned to controvert you, you had taken the viola and left, sir. However, there can be no doubt that the blame lies firmly at on my own door for allowing you to leave. So I shall not grumble or grouch any longer. May this guilt die with me. No, stop, my dear fellow. The fault is mine. Jesus Christ. Everyone wants to fucking kill themselves today. Phew. It would appear that the fight is over. I do humbly apologize, Mr. Windybank. Evidently, my questionable disposition precipitated this tragedy. Well, you wouldn't be Mr. Sherlock Holmes without that questionable disposition now, would you? I do believe you may be right, sir. It's either laugh or cry, I suppose. You are, it must be said, one of my more challenging customers. I needn't remind you of the peculiar collection of items you've brought through my door in the past. Oh, peculiar items? In the extreme, ma'am. For example, the unpublished manuscript of an eponymous work, the novels of Sherlock Holmes or some such. Oh my, a new full-fledged novel? An unpublished? A story I've yet to read, you mean? Ah, forgive me! Wait, before you die, you must tell me more. I love how they're just like, you know, how about we just, still let him keep this gun. Hang on a second. Alright, sorry about that. Unpublished story. I must know more. You tell me everything. Wow, Susada-san is really fired up now. Is there really an unpublished story under this very roof? Well, one day the gentleman here brought in an old metal chest, you see. I should like to entrust this to your care for a while, Mr. Windybank. For a chest like that, 1 shilling, sir, not a farthing more. I just show off here, yeah, he's 48. Great sense of responsibility to his clients. He's also very suicidal. Your house is something of great value indeed. The latest manuscript, recounting the adventures of one Mr. Sherlock Holmes. I beg your pardon, a manuscript? You wish to deposit a manuscript? Indeed I do, for I am confident it will be quite safe here. And how is that? As such, Mr. Holmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom. Mr. Holmes, is that really true? I sense that someone doesn't want to talk about this. I continue to pay your fee, do I not? Then kindly continue to store my belongings securely. Of course, sir, of course. They're safe and sound with me, I assure you, on my life. This is all very strange. I wonder, could I ask you something? A gentleman from the east, I see. Yes, that sable suit. I suppose I could offer you 6 pence for it. Without wishing to offend, the tone is somewhat dull. Sorry. Aha, but for your splendid attire, ma'am, 5 guineas, no less. The colors are exquisite, the design exotic. Eastern artistry at its finest, may I say. My, 5 guineas, you say? How interesting. But I feel as though I've suffered some sort of defeat here. Look how fucking smug she is. I love Susato-san. She's the best assistant, hands down, in the entire series. Actually, I was hoping to ask you about your business. I've heard it said that pawnbrokers are used rather like banks here in London. Yes, sir, indeed. Many of my customers utilize the establishment as you describe. I appraise their items and offer them a proportionate loan and 2 months of secure stowage. If in that time they repay the original sum to me, plus the agreed interest, their items are happily returned. But what happens if they don't pay the money? Then the items are offered for sale on my shop, as you can see on the shelves behind me. So you never sell items before the 2 months has passed then? That's right, ma'am. That's right. Which means some considerable responsibility rests on my shoulders. Should a customer's precious belongings be lost, the only request is for me to end it all. The very idea, Mr. Windybag, is an absurdity. One should never talk of one's demise so casually, says the man who was telling us all it was a good day to die only this morning. Let us not forget that I've already helped you take measures to ensure such a tragedy never occurs. Oh, what sort of measures? I engineered a simple device, which Mr. Windybank has installed here in his shop. I call it the Red-Handed Recorder. Is that not so, Mr. Windybank? Aha. What was that deep? What's that deep? What was that deep sigh about? What on earth is a What on earth is a red-handed recorder? Use your eyes, my dear fellow. There are two just below the ceiling. You can see what appears to be a camera attached to some sort of timing device. Very astute. It is indeed a camera furnished with some 100 pieces of celluloid film. And every 30 minutes precisely, the camera automatically records the appearance of the shop. Here, I have an example I could show you. Oh yes, a print from the camera set to record the activity at the shop counter. I developed a special type of film so sensitive it produces the crystal clear image even in darkness. Really, that's extraordinary. Yes, you can clearly see the counter and the door behind it. Look. So you see, were someone to enter the premises with ill intent, his identity would be summarily exposed. But did you not say that the photographic prints were taken at 30-minute intervals? Indeed, as you say, my dear madam. Then what if the incident were to occur in between times? One can only say that would be a cruel twist of fate. Must confess, devices have been giving me some cause for distress of late. Beg your pardon, Mr. Windybank. Surely they are anything but distressing. Reassuring is the word. It's the cost of the film, sir. You most graciously place not one but two cameras in my shop, after all, which means I must pay for nigh on 100 utterly useless prints every single day. I'm afraid the cost of the film will break me before I'm very much older. I can imagine how fucking expensive that would be. Like, flat out. Like, you imagine just like, especially in those days, in that day and age, how much that's fucking 200 pieces of film a day. Well, actually, I don't know. How many? 5 minutes? I don't know. Let's see. Wouldn't it run out before the day even ends? Hang on. Minutes. That'd be 288. So he'd more than fucking run out of film. Jesus Christ! I guess he'd have to replace it during the day. Well, I guess like late in the day, but still. How the fuck was there a 4 a.m. shot then? Yeah, whatever. Yeah, just... Nevertheless, a small price to pay to ensure the safety of my preferred pawnbrokery, no? My dear fellows, we verge on an age where safety and security come at a price. Oh, heaven help us. Now then, Mr. Holmes, allow me to return your precious violin. Ah, the very thing. Thank you, Mr. Windybank. Perhaps this might mark the end of the peculiar items you try to pop, Because if anything were to happen to one of them... This would be the only answer! I really think you ought to stop waving that gun around. Someone can get hurt. Fear not. Sorry. I've only loaded a single bullet, so no one but myself could possibly be harmed. That's not really what I meant. Good day to you, then, Mr. Windybank. It's been a pleasure as always, Mr. Holmes. So, Mr. Naruhodo, now we can explore at last. Yeah, we can finally explore this place. And there is a fuck ton to explore here. You can't examine the shovel there. Look at that enormous ledger on the counter there. Mr. Windybank is, if nothing else, very particular about recording the items he accepts. He'd have to be, otherwise he'd get himself into all sorts of trouble. She might explain the thing that catches my eye far more than the ledger. This revolver here. Do not entertain even a single thought of pilfering an article herein, my dear fellow. I assure you, Mr. Windybank will not hesitate to draw that weapon with a speed belying his portly size. Oh, you don't mean he'd blow his brains out? Indeed, in recompense for his blunder. Oh my. But in any case, of course you would never do such a thing. How could you even suggest it? Because I think of it. Because I think it'd be funny to see his brains all over the wall. Seriously, what the fuck? What the fuck were they writing? What the fuck were they on when writing fucking Windybank? It's funny, sure, but what the fuck? Yeah, I shall blow my brains out. Like, what the fuck, man? Look at this. What could this lovely big shiny box be? That, my dear madam, is a music box. Surely you have such things in your own country. Oh my, yes, but I've certainly never seen one so large before. Shall we listen a while? Ah, what a sublime sound. It's like the music of angels. Never heard anything like it before in my life. This particular specimen is of the larger variety, commonly found in public houses and restaurants. There is a metal disc inside on which the notes to be played are recorded. Simply by replacing the disc with another, any music you care to imagine can be played. My goodness, what a simply delightful machine. Indeed, though their popularity has waned recently with the development of the gramophone, of course. Ah. Science and technology advance at such an overwhelming pace. Oopsie. Popping the microphone there. Seems to be a little door hidden behind that curtain there. That leads to the storage room, where Mr. Windybank keeps articles that are currently in pawn. Ah, I see. There's nothing of particular interest inside. There's nothing of particular interest inside. I certainly wouldn't recommend any loss in this activity. I recommend it or not, it's not something I tend to do. There is but one key, and Mr. Windybank keeps it in his pocket at all times. Before he sleeps, he places it into a small pot which he slides under his pillow. Oh no, did you know about that, Mr. Holmes? I am a detective, sir. It is my business to know what others do not. I am frequently assailed by information that I neither care for nor wish to retain. Mr. Holmes, you're a wonder. And the prime suspect of this pawnbroker is ever burgled. What an assortment of things there are on these shelves here. Crockery, footwear, clocks, and watches. Almost anything you care to imagine. Those are forfeited items offered for sale by the pawnbroker. What does that really mean, though? When you pawn, or colloquially pop, an item, the broker loans you money against its worth. He stores the item for an agreed period of time, after which the loan must be repaid. If not, he is free to display it in the shop for sale, at a price of his choosing. Oh yes, now you've explained it. I'm noticing little price tags on everything. Of course, simply by paying the agreed interest on the loan, one can extend the period of safekeeping. So you may pawn that black garb of yours without fear, my dear fellow. My church's university uniform? Never. It embodies my student spirit. Now, what do you suppose this rather enormous machine does? It seems to have two little windows for looking through. Allow me to enlighten you, my dear fellow. What you are looking at is a stereoscope. A stereoscope? Fascinating. It is aptly named, I assure you. Look through the eyepieces and see for yourself. Oh, I should be delighted to. Excuse me a moment while I just have a look. Just before you do, there is something I should point out. My dear fellows, in order to see the image properly, stereoscopically as it were, you'll need to be cross-eyed. However, if that is beyond you, it is of little consequence today. Alright then, I'm gonna try it. Funny thing about this, in the original version of this game, you actually have to use the 3D function for this. Which is neat. I never got to see it though, because on Citra, the screen just duplicates if you put on 3D. I found that out the hard way. If you turn off 3D, it goes back to normal. But yeah, it's something I learned about Citra. Don't turn on the 3D. Alright, okay, I'm gonna try it. Ah! Mr. Naruhodo, you must see. At once, you weren't even looking at it. You didn't even bend down enough. Oh, alright then. So it needs to be cross-eyed. So, like I'm trying to look at my own nose. What the? I don't believe it. Just a photographic print, but it seems like you could reach out and touch it. It's meant to be like a 3D object that both the pictures combined together, yeah. So yes, the sense of depth is startling, is it not? Stereoscopes are one of London's many fads. They're often found in little stalls in the park. People queue for hours to see them. Why? Why are people meddling with such black magic? It is no magic, my dear madam. It is, well, far too complicated to explain at present. We shall save this lesson for another day. Maybe you can explain it, but yeah, it's basically just two images, and when you go cross-eyed, it's like two images converge into one, and it looks like it's popping out. Oh. Look at this. Whatever could it be? Whatever could it be used for? I have no idea. Ah. There's a small catch just here, look. We're going to open it, aren't we? Oh my, that's amazing. It has some sort of spring-loaded mechanism, which will never match it back to the way it was before. What are you two doing? What, us? Nothing. No, nothing at all. Whatever this device is, it seems to have a pair of little windows to look through. Feels as though I've seen something rather similar to this elsewhere. Use a calendar. It's not a calendar you could easily miss, is it? 15th of April. Today's date. Yes, that's not for sale, I must point out. It is an Eastern-style page-a-day calendar. Every night at midnight, I tear off the front page to reveal the following day's date. The perfect calendar for a tearaway fellow such as yourself, Mr. Windybank. Who was it who walked out of here with the wrong violin before? Well, when the agreed storage period is passed without repayment, articles are forfeited, you see. So I have to keep a close eye on the date. It's something of a pawnbroker's obsession, you might say. Oh, I see. Oh, I can see you're very dedicated to your job. That's to the point where you'd kill yourself if someone were to steal something. Which is still fucking weird. But you know what, whatever. What? Only tuppence for it? That ain't fair, and you know it. Yeah, article's barely worth a penny, miss. I can't offer you more. Sounds like there's an argument brewing over by the counter. Come on, that can't be right. Have you even had a proper butcher's at it? I've seen all that I need to see, young girl. Hey, look at this. Wait, don't we know? Sure, I recognize her. Oh yes, it's the young lady from Mr. McGilda's trial 2 months ago. Her name is Sheena Lestrade, my lord. She's a chancer, earns her crust among large crowds, relieving people of their purses, what's commonly called a pickpocket. I'm forgetting. Fuck the Irish accent. Fuck the Irish accent. I'm not. I hate it. I hate it. I just remembered I have to fucking voice him sometimes, in this fucking case. Oh, why can't he just stay dead and not have flashbacks? Gordon Bennett, you lot. Gordon Bennett. Hello, Mrs. Strad. I hope you've been well. Eh, what? You remember me then, do ya? Well, I remember being completely surrounded by smoke, that's for sure. So what are you doing here? Down and out like the rest of us. Nothing to eat. Come to pop that black weasel. Sorry, coat, have you? What is it about this black uniform that makes everyone comment on it? Ah, good day. Unless I'm much mistaken. You would be the young pickpocket who stole our experimental smoke grenade launcher. Ah, Mr. Holmes. So, you have something of value to pawn, do you? Let me just see the article, and I shall negotiate with Mr. Winniebank on your behalf. Here she is. Pull the other one. I only know her from some stuck-up D. Get on me business. Go on, I'll make trouble for you. As you wish, Miss Lestrade. I will happily remove myself from your presence. He's really done it. He's gone. I'm sorry, but as I said, there really is no room for negotiation here. What is that thing he has in his hands? Some kind of metal disc? Hey you! Go on! Leave me alone! Oh, Mr. Strad, just pretend we aren't here. We shan't be offended in the slightest. Susato-san can really stand her ground when she wants to. Whatever. Present your armband, it's funny. Would you have a look at, that's strange. Where's my armband gone? What's the problem? Something wrong? Something wrong? Don't suppose you're looking for this? Yes, but how? And when? And how again? I got time for it, haven't I? Diving. That's bordering on black magic. It makes what I was about to say about my armband seem a little dull. So, what do you want to tell me about then? Somehow, I didn't really think you were the sort of person who'd use a pawnbroker, Miss Lestrade. Yeah, well, I am, alright. I'm a Londoner. Just like everyone else. That a problem, is it? No, not at all. It's just that, well... Oh, I get it. I know what you're thinking. That thing probably don't even belong to her. Probably got her on the dive, didn't she? Yeah, I can see it written all over your Chevy Chase. Well, I might have been thinking something along those lines. You're not gonna deny it, Mr. Naruto? Alright, then I'm just gonna come out and ask you straight. Do you pawn things that you steal from other people? Well, I don't know how best to answer that, really. Suppose, sometimes. You're not gonna deny it either, Mrs. Lestrade? But not this time, alright? I swear, that thing belongs to me. The disc Mr. Winniebank is holding. Perhaps we should see what he has to say about all this. Mr. Winniebank, what exactly is this metal disc that Mr. Lestrade has brought in? Seems to have 100 tiny little bumps on its surface. Ah, as a music disc, you see, for use inside a music box. The music box? What? You don't even know what a music box is? You look Eastern Law ain't so savvy, eh? I know what a music box is, I've just never seen one of these discs before. Small protrusions on a metal disc encode the tune to be played by the music box. You simply insert the disc and set the machine going, and beautiful music plays. So incredible. Tell us, what tune is on this disc? Well, I'm afraid I couldn't tell you that. There are so many different types of music box. Different types of music box, you see. British made, German, Swiss. I have no way of knowing which particular machine this disc was made for. I see. And that's in a nutshell. I wouldn't have any customers for an item like this, even if the young lady forfeited it. I'm already offering more than I should at a penny. That's a packet of lies. He told me he did. He said it was, well... He? Who? Never you mind. It just ain't right, that's all. That disc's worth good money, I know it is. Well then, you'll have to try your luck at another pawnbroker's, won't you? Ah. She's been in before, of course, this little tatterdemalion. What the fuck is that word? Okay, I know I did record this, but I wasn't really paying too much attention to the dialogue, if I'm being honest, because when I was recording for the case rankings, the Grace Journey cases are still fresh in my mind, so I didn't really have to care too much about reading through everything. But wait, tatterdemalion. Someone's just ragged. Kind of fucking... I know ragamuffin. There we go. It's like ragamuffin. I know that word at least. I see. I brought some dubious article or other with her every single time, I might add. Dubious? What are you trying to say? I'm an honest customer, me. So, is there something dubious about the disc she brought in today? Well, if only it were that simple. Sorry, what do you mean? What she actually brought in was a storage ticket. Ah, a storage ticket. So, Mr. Strahd has actually come to redeem an article from you today, is that right? Yeah, that's right. A girl like me has a lot of stuff what needs storing. Alright, yes, that's definitely dubious. The article in question would have been forfeited at midnight tonight. She gave me the ticket for it and repaid both the loan and the interest. I was obliged to return the article to her. Well, what was the article? Do tell us, Mr. Windybank. The little scamp is wearing it, ma'am. It's the overcoat that she redeemed. Oh. What? What's wrong with that? It fits, don't it? I mean, it's mine, so of course it does. So what about the disc then? How does that come into all this? The disc is something else. A new article to pawn, if the girl and I can agree a price. I'm confused. I thought you said, Mr. Strawberry, sorry, she could say, oh. Sorry, it's still early in the morning for me. Confused. I thought you said Mr. Strahd brought in a storage ticket today. It's really quite simple. Yes, a child brought me a storage ticket, and the money owned on it, as you say. For this heavy black coat, which you returned to her care, as I understood it. That's right, yes, and rather unsurprisingly, as soon as the little ragamuffin put the thing on... You see, he says ragamuffin here. He's just changing, he's just saying a different thing now. Okay, I guess what the fuck? She went rifling through the pockets. Oh, you mean... What? Don't you know it's rude to stare at a lady? Oh, I see. So it came from the pocket of the overcoat, did it? If you mean this disc, yeah, then yes, exactly, ma'am. She immediately tried to pawn it. She immediately tried to pawn it. Quite a high price as well. This is all rather suspicious, I think. Give it up. I'm just trying to pawn something like anyone else would. Mr. Strahd, may I ask who deposited the overcoat here in the first place? Well, me. It doesn't really appear to be your size. Me old man! It's me old man, ain't it? Is it, Miss Lestrade? Yes, this is definitely all rather suspicious. Out of my way, please! Look at me. Who's this picture postcard English gentleman? Out of my way. No, something softer. Good day to you, ladies. Gentlemen. What's your problem, eh? There is no problem, as long as you remove yourself. I have a matter to discuss with the proprietor. And if you intend to make a problem of it, I shall see you outside, little girl, for the hiding you deserve. Look, ain't it obvious? I ain't done talking with him yet. If you think you're such a gent, you should know how to wait in line. Well, you're an impudent little brat, aren't you? As well as a pickpocket. Eh? Who are you? How'd you know who I am? The question is, how do you not know who I am? You haven't the courtesy even to remember the faces of your victims, it seems. What? You mean from you? Broker? Yes, sir. I believe this filthy pickpocket thief has just redeemed an article from you, no? Yes. The article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned at once. Oh my. No, that's a lie. What are you trying to pull? Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel. Wastrel? What the I fucked that word. What the fuck is that word? And needless to say. Any music box discs too. No, you can't have it. You can't have it. You just can't. It's my old man's. Oh, it was. Now it's mine. Goodness, Mr. Naruto. This is a very awkward situation. Yes. I think perhaps we should hear both sides of the story in a little more detail. Mrs. Strahd, is what the gentleman is saying. What do you think? It's all lies, ain't it? Obviously. I swear on my life, I ain't never laid eyes on that dandy before. I assure it now, you little ragamuffin. You stole it, didn't you? I take it you brought in here just now. No, I swear. I swear to God. Just barely an hour ago, I was walking along the street minding my own business, when this little gutterling ran into me. I knew at once what had happened. I've been robbed yet again, I thought to myself. Those wretched pickpockets. Yet again? Oh yes, as you can see, I'm a man of impeccable style. This isn't the first time I have been targeted by these backslum scoundrels. Now then, relinquish my overcoat. Grr. Come along now, Mr. Starley. Give the good gentleman his coat back. If you're going to cause trouble, you shall have no choice but to call the police. Hold on, why does everyone think it's me? Just look at this dandy cove, and you think I'm the dodgy one? I mean, she's kind of right. Sorry, but no one's going to believe you. Well, what by evidence? Yeah. What's the evidence that I've stolen something, eh? Come on, let's see it. Oh, I have evidence, naturally. You what? Evidence that the article Mr. Strahd was redeemed actually belongs to this gentleman? Of course, we need only consult Mr. Winnieback's ledger to know the truth. We'll be able to look up the name of the person who deposited the article in the first place. Yes, brilliant. Brilliant! Very sorry, but I'm afraid that won't be possible. Oh? I never ask customers' names. It's a strict policy of mine. But why not? Well now, as you can imagine, some of my customers have circumstances to consider. A great many of them prefer to maintain their anonymity. Yes, I see. Anonymity. But then how can you know if an article belongs to the person asking to redeem it? Oh, it's quite simple. Good sir. Why to trouble you for the watchword associated with the article in question? Of course, it's Professor. Yes, that's right. And all the evidence we need. Gentleman is the rightful owner of the article, without doubt. A watchword. Interesting. So about these watchwords, Mr. Windybank. So I just explain. I never ask customers' names when they deposit items with me. There are many reasons why. Certain customers would like to keep their activities secret. That wasn't exactly a subtle glance at Mr. Holmes now, was it? We detectives have no dark secrets, not at all. Yes, well. Anyway, that's why I always ask for a watchword whenever I accept a new article. In many ways, it's like the secret combination of numbers used to unlock a vault. The date of deposit, a description, and a watchword. Uniquely identify each item. And of course, then I give the source ticket to the customer. When someone comes to redeem something, I ask for the ticket and the watchword. And if that someone tells you the correct watchword, you return the article. That's right, sir. Yes, just as soon as the requisite fee is paid. Now, I have supplied you with the information you require already, but for the avoidance of doubt, the article in question is an overcoat deposited 2 months ago on the 15th of February. With the watchword of Professor. All perfectly correct information, sir. But how? Really, this is beyond the joke now. There's no further room for doubt. Now let's talk to him. Excuse me, but who are you? One would expect the inquirer to introduce himself first. Though clearly you are not British, so perhaps our ways are foreign to you. Oh, sorry, yes. We're from the Empire of Japan. We're studying here. Oh yes, Japan. I've heard talk of the place. Its inhabitants live on some fiery brown-colored soup, just up with exotic spices. You might be thinking of somewhere else. What was that theatrical gesticulation about? Perhaps. Anyway, if you're a gentleman, sir, you offer your own name first, before inquiring about after the name of another. Of course, yes. I'm Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a lawyer. Well, a student of law, really. My name is Shisato Mikotoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's assistant. I see. My name is Benedict. Yes, Egbert Benedict. Egbert Benedict. You're such a fucking stupid. Enchanté. He's so refined in how he holds himself and how he speaks, but that name is suspicious. Now to the matter at hand. My overcoat. Return it at once. There's someone with the style to carry it off. It looks good on her. Every move he makes, every breath he takes, I can't stand watching him. That's a really out there reference there. I mean, I'm like one of the fucking 5 people that fucking actually know the police, I guess. So, So let that be an end to the matter. And thank you for your custom, Mr. Egbert Benedict, sir. It does look good on him, as you can see. With such reasonable rates of interest, I may even decide to come back. Look at the man. Such exquisite hair. That's why I hate grown-ups. Just because I'm a diver, everyone thinks that makes me a liar. And the contents of the coat pockets, if you please, broker. But of course, sir. Here's a disc for you. Here's a disc for you. Just this one. Pardon, sir? I was expecting another. Or, that is, I deposited another. Another disc? Oh dear. I regret to inform you, sir. That was what was deposited with me, was merely the overcoat. The disc happened to be in one of the pockets, but I was completely unaware of it until now. So, Gatling, You're hiding more of what's rightfully mine, are you? Says who, eh? I don't know nothing about it. Very well. Then I shall bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style. Wait a minute. That disc is mine. Ah, what do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood, you filthy animal. Oh my, yes. There's blood on the disc. It's because of all those sharp little bumps. The man must have scratched his finger on them. I found it first, alright. I mean, it belonged to me old man, so you're not having it. Or you take it. Me? If I hang on to it, they'll have it off of me again, so you keep out of it. Mr. Strahd, why is this disc so important to her? You there, in the black livery. Hand the disc to me at once, please. No, don't. He's lying. Grown-ups are all liars. What do I do now? How am I gonna resolve this? Well, Mr. Holmes can help out with that, but we're gonna have to save that for next time. Cause it's already over an hour long, this episode. And there's still a lot of investigation to do. This is a long case. This is the longest case in the game. Ugh. Of course, you can tell what's gonna happen next time. But in any case, this is gonna be it for this episode. So next time on the Great Ace Attorney Adventures, we're gonna be handling yet another one of Mr. Holmes's great deductions, and of course, continuing with this investigation-ish thing. I mean, there's still no crime that's happened yet. So anyway, see you guys next time. Take care.